Storyteller has won 2 Solus Awards for travel writing. And she writes for the New York Times and the National Geographic Traveler. And she has a book, which I have to say, I think there's not enough of these kinds of books, called Leave Only Paw Prints, Dog Hikes in San Diego County. I hope that you are going to write one for Los Angeles County because it's needed. I don't have a dog, but all my friends have dogs, and I don't think there's any dog hike books in LA. So we can ask her afterwards. We can put pressure on her to write that as her next book. Let's welcome to the stage Donna Lawrence.
When I was growing up, I was always the quiet sister. My sister Diane was beautiful and gregarious and very popular. She always had a lot of friends. And I had trouble making friends because I was shy. I often felt I sort of blended into the background. And in my growing up years, there was always beautiful and sparkly Diane right there in front of me. I was okay with that most of the time. When we were very young, friends would drop by the house and call out for Diane to come out and play. No one ever called out for me to come out and play, but that was okay because I loved to spend hours bending over a jigsaw puzzle or lying on my tummy reading books or writing stories. And somehow I knew, even as a child, that it was okay to be the quiet one, and that the quiet ones were every bit as valuable and important as the noisy ones, the gregarious ones. I knew that even the quiet ones had value. Our parents never showed any favoritism, but there was one aunt and uncle who certainly did. Whenever they came to visit, it was as if Diane was the only child in the house. They would ask her questions and listen to her stories about school and her activities and her friends, and they listened, and I listened, and they never asked me anything. And I thought, grown-ups aren't supposed to act this way. Why are they acting this way? They're grown-ups. But then when my cute baby sister Debbie was born, I noticed they ignored her too. It wasn't just me. Diane was just the only child as far as they were concerned. But I always felt very loved and supported by both of my parents. And Diane was nice to me, and she was generous with me. And when I grew to be her size, she loaned me her clothes. And she always had really nice clothes. And when I was old enough to go to dances, I never had to buy a dress for a dance because she had a closet full of beautiful prom dresses, and I was free to choose what I wanted to wear. I always thought they were much more beautiful than anything I would find. I never begrudged Diane her popularity. She couldn't help it. She was Diane. I started junior high right after she had graduated and gone on to high school. And while she was in junior high, she was in Glee Club. She had a beautiful soprano voice. Of course she was a soprano. And the teacher, Mrs. Waldorf, usually gave her the solos. Well, I wanted to be in Glee Club. I really wanted to. And I had to audition for Mrs. Waldorf. So I went in, and when she saw my name, she asked, and I said, yes, I'm Diane's sister. And then she sat down at the piano. She always played the piano with one hand and led the songs with the other, and she led me through a couple of songs. And I did okay. I got into Glee Club. But I got put into a section called Second Sopranos, which sounded kind of like second best. Then, due to an accidentally well-timed move, Diane and I went to different high schools, and it was great. I didn't have a big sister. I wasn't anybody's little sister then. I mean, I still was, but nobody at school knew Diane, and there was nobody to compare me with. But then I joined the youth group at church, and Diane had been a member for about 2 years. And everybody was friendly to me there, but for a while my name became Diane's little sister. She would correct them and say, her name's Donna, but nobody seemed to ever remember. Every spring, the youth group had a talent show. And of course, since Diane could sing, they knew she would be singing a song in the talent show. And one of the parents who was helping put on the show pulled me aside and asked if I'd like to lip sync to a record from Spike Jones. Now, I'd never heard this record, and I'd never heard of Spike Jones. This is not the Spike Jones with a Z. This is an older Spike Jones. But I listened to the record, and it sounded pretty funny, so I thought, I'll do that. And one thing that happened during rehearsal that really surprised me, I found out that when I was doing this, it was like I put on an invisible mask, and people couldn't see me, so I could be as silly as I needed to be for the song. And I really wasn't nervous. The song was funny and silly and kind of frantic. It was about bunnies and how fast they multiply. And it was called You Wanna Buy a Bunny? And I just went with it. When it came time for the real show, I wasn't even scared because I could put on this invisible mask and people wouldn't see me. Of course, I wasn't wearing a mask, but it felt that way. And after I was through, I got a huge, rousing response, which really surprised me. And then the youth minister came up to me, and he had this really surprised smile, and he said, "You're just as talented as your sister." I wanted to say, "Of course I am. Whoever said I wasn't?" But I said, "Thank you." Now, years later, Diane and I, of course, have gone in different directions. My beautiful, gregarious sister is a minister, and she shares her sparkle with her congregation every week, and that's perfect for her. And me, I'm a writer. It all fits.
Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe for more videos. And we'd love to hear about your family experiences that have changed your life. Be sure to click the link to go to our Facebook page or comment on your stories below. Until next time, guys, thank you.